EN 1090 is a harmonised standard that covers construction of steel and aluminium products that are installed in a permanent manner. So what this means is if you're a manufacturer and you produce these products that fall into the scope of EN 1090, then you must CE mark that product at the point of release. This is applicable for all products that are released in the European Economic Area, and the UK is part of that area. EN 1090 is important because as of July 2014, the CPR has mandated that all construction products made out of steel or aluminium that fall into the scope of EN 1090 need to be CE marked in accordance to that standard. So the CPR is the Construction Product Regulation, and that's the European directive. I mean, one of the difficulties of EN 1090 is the fact that the scope is so broad. I mean, it can be anywhere between the mezzanine that we're on at the moment to a skyscraper or a stadium. But the key points to remember that it has to be made out of steel or aluminium, it has to be load bearing, and it has to be installed in a permanent manner. Now, there are other criteria that we can help you with that are publicly available, and we'll be happy to direct you to these. CE marking is at its heart a self-declaration, but there's also a third component that needs to be fulfilled in order to CE mark, and that's the assessment and certification of your fracture production control, or FPC as it's known by. Now, this can only be done by a notified body who's been accredited by UCAS, and that's the status that BSI has. So what would happen is we'd come and assess your FPC and certificate it, and then you'd use that to produce your CE mark for the products you release within the European Economic Area. We'll make sure that all personnel, this is from designers to welders, are suitably qualified and have experience, and that all work to documented procedures, this is important, they have to be documented, that are themselves in accordance to EN 1090. Okay, so the first step that you have to take is, of course, deciding whether they fall into the scope of EN 1090, and so need to CE mark against that. Now, this is something that only the manufacturer can do. Us as a notified body, we can't give you that advice. So that's the first step. If you decide that you do fall into scope, then our next advice would be to buy the standards. These are the standards that all notified bodies and manufacturers are using as the core reference. So I would argue that they're essential in order to be compliant with the standard. The next thing you need to do is determine the execution class to which you're going to achieve. This dictates how stringent your FPC needs to be, and it's based on the type of products you make. Lastly, I'd advise that you contact BSI and we can discuss this with you, and we can determine the assessment plan that's unique to your size and scope of activities. BSI has the advantage that we have a rich and well-rounded history of both producing and assessing standards. We're also a notified body for a host of other standards, which means we've got the expertise and experience to deliver these. In addition to this, gaining your FPC certification through BSI will not only certificate your FPC, so you'll be compliant to the new legal requirement as stated by the CPR, we'll also use the process as a means to improve your business.
So we know that, of course, the top priority for clients using this service is around compliance. But what we have found is that the benefits are far more than just CE marking and having access to being able to place their products on the market within the European Union. I think the first thing to say really is that a significant number have improved the controls in their businesses, and as a result of that they have actually made cost savings. They've also told us that they have attracted a significant number of new customers through using this service, and that it's also enabled them to demonstrate their professionalism. And when you think about the type of businesses that they're trying to attract, anything that companies can do that really reinforces that they are professional, they've done their due diligence, can only be a good thing. We also asked our clients about the service that we provide, and again the results were extremely positive. Right from the start of the journey, from initial inquiries that come into our sales team, all the way through to the assessors and what they do during assessments, to the final certificate and the report. And in particular, it was the knowledge of our assessors that clients really benefit from and value, as well as their understanding of what's actually going on in people's businesses. So that kind of combined understanding has proved to be really beneficial. We've been offering CE marking services to companies around the globe since the early 1980s. So as a notified body, we do have a lot of knowledge which people can then also tap into, and I think that's come out loud and clear from the results from this particular survey. Companies might also be interested to know that we work with a lot of Tier 1 contractors in the UK and internationally. So again, if a company is looking for reinforcement, we're already known within the built environment. So any sensible company looking for additional added value to reinforce who they are as an organisation, if they come to BSI for CE marking for structural steel or aluminium, then they know they're in good hands.